Chiron in Aries 16. So we have recently looked at the first 15 degrees of Aries in the context of Jupiter going through them. But it's equally true to say that Chiron has just completed that first half of Aries and is now moving on to the first degree of the second half, the 16th degree of Aries. And it is important, I think, to understand that from Rudyard's point of view, this begins a second major phase of consciousness. We have Aries representing, first and foremost, in his idea, the principle of desire. And then the second half of Aries, potency. I want to. Now I can. So there's a huge shift from identifying what it is we're going for, the first half of Aries. And secondly, have we the power to get that thing? Now, if we have that in mind as we move through our understanding of this particular degree of Chiron now, I think it's very helpful. Chiron is going to bring a shift of perception of what it is we're talking about. So, on this level of the 16th degree, it's called Brownie's Dancing in the Setting Sun. And it has this kind of poetic sense of children, girl children, playing in a natural environment. But there's more to it from Rudyard's point of view. Anyway, let's start with this. Aries 16, Brownie's Dancing in the Setting Sun. A deep, mystical resonance with life. When the body is weakened by illness, fasting, or sensory deprivation, this allows our subtle body of light to resonate with nature spirits. By doing so, we become stronger and gain potential, which is important for both recuperation and taking further initiative to extend our influence. Do we not all feel invigorated by natural elements, the wind, the rain, the sun and the stars? A deep mystical awareness of essence, becoming like a little child living in a holistic, non-rational, intuitive manner and tuning in to nature spirits. Now this is the point. Jones doesn't get this or doesn't speak of it. Rudyard does. When we're filled with that feeling of a sunrise or the smell of rain on the grass or the wind in the hair, when that appreciation of nature gets to a spiritual level, something is happening to us then which is different, remarkably different, and it is empowering. We feel that we are in alignment with nature, and rather than just take that very prosaic approach to the question, Rudyard goes one step further. He talks about the existence of nature spirits. Scene 2, potency, Aries 16 to Aries 30. The first level, actional, phase 16, Aries 16. Nature spirits are seen at work in the light of sunset. The keynote, attunement to the potency of invisible forces of nature. In the light of personal fulfillment, the symbol of sunset and wisdom, man may be able to establish a life-giving contact with natural forces. These are active any time growth processes take place, but man's individualized mind is usually too focused on working for consciously set goals to be able to realize concretely the presence of invisible or occult forces in operation. These forces constitute a specific realm of any planetary life. It's best, I think, to visualize these forces of nature as beings, self-aware beings. And we speak of them in a poetic way, a mystical way, a child's story kind of way in every culture. In Cornwall they call them the PISCES, and in Ireland the leprechauns, and various different names all over the world for a type of being that is one with nature, that supports natural processes, and really sees the human kingdom as its worst enemy on some levels, but not all of us individually. And you can somehow form relationship with this group of people, or they're not really people, just a group of spirits, nature spirits. You can form relationship with them by being alone in nature and loving nature and allowing yourself to hear it's kind of a song they're singing through the sound of wind in the leaves and bird song and so on. There's this sense of something happening, and I'm sure we're all aware of it, but we might not be aware that it could be called a self-aware life force, and I think it's best to see it that way. Brownies dancing in the setting sun. Sunrise and sunset are special times. We know this. When we see the sunrise, it's like, wow. And we've seen it before 100 times. And when the sunset is particularly beautiful, everyone gets out their camera and wants everyone else to see. Wow. We've seen it 1,000 times before, and still it's exciting. So that feeling quality of I am alive, which is what we're calling excitement, is given special attention here. Chiron is there. Chiron is saying, let's look at this differently. We've all seen it as excitement, for example. Let's see it as nature spirits. And something changes in your psyche when you start to do that. You start to relate to something else, which is a living, self-aware being. And therefore your relationship is deepened, made more profound. And so we're accessing a deeper sense of the life force itself because of this shift of perception that Chiron brings. Chiron is a real teacher and a healer. We know that, a wounded healer. Yeah, but it's a teacher, and it gets us to understand ourselves and our interaction with the world, our relationship with all things living in a different way. And this different way is key. The symbol of Chiron is key to our release from the bondage of one type to the freedom of another way of being ourselves. It isn't that much changes in outer format necessarily. It's just that within ourselves we're different. We're free of a binding force that Chiron has released from us. So here we have Chiron entering this second half of Aries with this awareness that it's in total alignment with nature spirits. So we can call up unicorns and elves and fairies and leprechauns to our side, and we can somehow find a deeper meaning in our lives than we could otherwise find. It gives us a dimensional shift in consciousness. Literally, we're no longer only in this three-dimensional world that people find troublesome for good reason, but we're actually already in many worlds. You can count whatever number you want. I count 7, but it's an analog system. It's indefinite. That there isn't any numbers on this realm of being. It's all kind of Neptunian amorphous energy. But we can actually tune into it on distinct planes of consciousness, which are studied best, I think, by the number 7, which gives us a mysterious, a magical, and mystical sense of life. And we're awakening that with the 16th degree of Aries. This might surprise some people who think of Aries differently, but there is this quality of Aries where they are very sensitive indeed. Their whole beingness of an Aries is survival. I am is the statement, not anything qualitative, but I am, I exist, I survive, I am. That's their major statement. And desire goes with that. It's as though for the Aries, beingness, I amness, and desire are one and the same. And here we have potency. Can I? Well, yes, I can, because I've got the nature spirits on my side. It gives us this sense of, I know what I want now. Can I have it? Yes. Tune into the nature spirits and you'll get it. Go out for a walk. Go out in the rain, especially. That's wonderful. Do things that you would have been doing every moment of your life 300,000 years ago. Being outdoors, being aware of the stars and the sunrise and the things in nature. This is what empowers us on that deeper mystical level for our journey in fulfilling our desires in life.